Hello and a warm welcome to Wellness with Will. My name is William, last name Lehong. We have a very special guest today, Dr. Sujata Garach, who runs the Medical Aesthetics on 55 in Pretoria, and she would like to talk to you about what the beauty industry has as an impact on mental health. Doctor, welcome to Wellness with Will. We see so many people going to have things like the BBL, things like the lifting of cheeks, so many surgeries or works done on themselves because they want to look a certain way. And when they look a certain way, they feel a certain way, which then means that the mindset then tells them that because I now look this way, I should be okay to face the world. But I imagine before it even gets to that point, when they come through to your office, there are a lot more conversations that I had. Talk to me about just the process firstly, Doctor.
Okay. Thank you, Will, for having me on the show. It's really a privilege for me to be here with you today. When it comes to mental health and any kind of medical aesthetic treatments, I find that it will depend on an individual, right? Self-confidence as well as being socially active is a really big thing, and especially since COVID has come and gone by. I think we've been so much having more Teams meetings or Zoom meetings. You find patients have difficulty in understanding why they look a certain way when they look at themselves either on a screen or when they're taking a selfie. So start noticing things that you never knew existed, like what is called a little tear tuft, or what is a little pimple that's suddenly standing out. It just seems like it's humongous or ginormous rather than a small little speck on the skin.
Right.
So self-confidence is a really big thing to say, if I look good, I feel good, I can put myself out better. Like I'm sitting here in front of you and I am a little nervous, but I need to speak up so that I feel good. But I know I look good, so I can say it out and I can talk and I can still make a lot of sense.
Right. I love that, Doctor. So obviously you are now dealing with the patient who's already anxious.
Yes.
And they are sitting there hoping that you can help them in some way by adjusting a few things.
Yeah.
I'm a little anxious and now I've lost my confidence because I have this pimple on my face, which to you, because you're a professional, you're looking at this pimple is like it's not really that big. But for me, when I look at it, the voice in my head says this is huge, it's a zit, it's ruining the aesthetics.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. So for me, I think it's important to first encourage women and people that walk into our practice to say, you know what, you really look good, you really are beautiful, or you're really a good looking man.
Right.
And I think if you say that to somebody, look them in the eye, make them feel that their small problem or big problem is really something I care about as an individual. So when I can put that out to you and you feel okay, and when I start having this conversation about the skin with you, it's not just a 5-minute consultation. It takes up to an hour for us to figure out what it is that's bothering you, and then we get to the bottom of how we can solve that specific problem for you. So it would go from saying, okay, fine, what are you looking at? Just the pimple? Are you looking at how you're aging? Are you looking at the little lines that are caused by you when you're smoking?
Right.
How is it that your sunglasses are sitting on your face without creating a little dent on the side of your nose?
Sure.
How are the frown lines looking on your face? And again, it's all about realistic expectations.
Right.
So it's when you start making patients aware of when you're using a cell phone, how a cell phone will actually distort what you really look like. Because when you look at you and you take a picture that's created by your phone, it's just not the same.
Right.
Compared to if you take it on an SLR camera, or if you're taking it on television as such.
Sure.
So the images are all different, but we have our cell phones. Who doesn't have a cell phone today? That cell phone convinces us that this is how we look, and we look always bad. So we're always judging how are we smiling, how our teeth are looking, do I
Right.
have a little wrinkle, is there a little squint in my eye,
Sure.
my shape of my eyebrows are not sitting in line with what they should be. So when you start having those little conversations with the patient, it makes them sit and realize that they don't need to be so anxious about anything. And again, everyone is beautiful for me.
I love that.
And when we start there, I think we get good results.
Incredible, doctor. I'm fascinated now because we are obviously in a digital age, and most of us are operating, or at least running, a big part of our lives online, which means the image that we put out digitally needs to look a certain way for us to feel confident enough to engage the world digitally, because the world is now digital.
Sure.
In any case, right? And then how then within that hour consultation do you then, what happens next is my question.
So again, we go through, being a doctor is very important to me. And
Right.
how I put that consultation is really very important. So we ask about all sorts of things like family history, about what medication you're on, how much time you spend at work, at a desk, outdoors. So it goes from all of those things, what you're using on your skin, what medication you are on, and then we take the next step about what we need to solve. Right. So if someone says, you know what, it's my, I'm Will, I'm standing in front of the camera,
Right.
and I need to look good.
Sure.
I don't want those little wrinkle lines around my eyes or the
Yeah.
little pimple that's sitting on my face. Then we discuss that and we take the next step about what type of skincare we'll introduce, and obviously what type of treatment we do on
Right.
your skin.
And those recommendations, doctor, would they happen after the one consultation, or would there be several consultations that would take place in your office or at your practice?
Okay, so when you look at skin, skin ages just like the rest of the body.
Right.
It is not static, it is dynamic, just like our lives are. Just
Sure.
like how what we eat, we don't eat the same food every day, we changing. So
Right.
when we are ill, our skin will change. If we pick up weight, our skin will change. If we're exposed to extreme weathers, your skin will change. So consultations will be done regularly, but we need to give the skin some time to adjust to something new that we do on it.
Okay.
So so there will be a repeated consultation. I would say between 3 to 6 months, within 3
Okay.
to 6 months.
Sure.
But patients come in and they'll do a treatment, or they'll use the skincare that we've recommended for them at the practice.
Okay, now that we've got that part of the puzzle solved,
Yeah.
let's move on, doctor. Let's move the conversation along. What now then happens when someone comes in and they really feel that the problem that you need to assist them with is very, very huge,
Right.
And it requires surgery? What sort of conversations are you having with those patients to really then help them understand, firstly, that they are beautiful regardless, and because that is a voice in their head telling them that maybe I'm not as beautiful, so this problem, which looks very big to me, needs to be fixed.
Okay, so then we go on to the next step of putting together or making them recognize maybe there's something that they need to deal with personally inside them, right? And if there isn't a problem to deal with that inside, then you obviously need to refer them to someone who can help them,
Sure.
like a plastic surgeon, or helping them lose some weight if the weight is the problem,
Right.
or if it is maybe high blood pressure and some of the medications are causing whatever they are feeling like, or on the outside of their body, or
Yeah.
anything else.
Okay, and doctor, does it matter how many times we come to your office? What do you recommend? Is it like a once-off, or it depends on our needs? So if I then start
Okay.
seeing you, will it become like a yearly thing, or every 6 months, or I can just do one thing one time and be sorted for life?
There's no such thing as that you're sorted for life. If you have to pay for your insurance on your car and you claim before that,
Right.
your premium will go up. So it's all about making sure that you maintain what you're doing on your skin.
So the
ongoing.
maintenance is a big part of it.
It's a big part of it, yeah. So there are some patients that will come on a yearly basis. Some people will come every month, depending on what the problem is. And once they've solved that problem, they come for a maintenance treatment maybe every 6 months. Or they go home with skincare and they come back and buy some more skincare. So it will just depend from individual to individual. So
Right.
we have patients that walk in for their botulinum toxin injections. Those are for the wrinkles on the forehead or in the glabella area or around the eyes.
Okay.
They come in every 4 to 6 months to come in. If they're doing an injectable treatment like a filler treatment or a biostimulator,
Right.
then that will depend on what is really needed, where they age, how old they are. So
Right.
in their 20s, you'll do minimal stuff, or if they're in their 30s, a little bit more. But if they're going on to 50s, 60s, and they say, hey, you know what, I think I need a little bit more, they'll come in maybe every 6 to 8 weeks to come into the practice till they're happy, and then which would be like 3 treatments, and thereafter they'll come every year for a maintenance treatment.
Right.
I see a lot of acne patients at the practice as well. So the teens will come in once a month, if they're doing any oral medication, which is obviously medication, that
Okay.
they need to then, I need to obviously supervise to see if everything is going well.
Okay.
And thereafter they come in for maintenance, or if we're not putting them onto any medication, then they'll come and do a skincare treatment.
Sure.
Whether it's peels on their skin, whether it's microneedling, or any other sort of resurfacing treatment on their skin.
Okay. And please educate us, doctor. I mean, what are some of the pitfalls that people may not necessarily be aware of, and have not come to you and have gone to, call it backdoor, I don't even know what to call them, right? But you always find these adverts on Facebook, across the social media, even on WhatsApp, people are being scammed. And they get scammed because they don't know the professional route that they can take, like yourself coming to see you. What are the pitfalls that people often fall for?
Okay. So when you talk about a professional,
Right.
I'm a professional, I'm
Yes.
a doctor.
Right.
And you should first make sure that the person is registered with the Health Professionals Council.
Okay.
If you're going to a medical aesthetic doctor, then you must make sure that they are registered with our body, which is the Aesthetic and Anti-Aging Society of South Africa.
Okay.
And they have a list of doctors that are registered with them. And there are many of them all over South Africa that you know that you are going to someone who's authentic and who knows what they're doing in their field.
Right.
Yeah, so we do have societies and we are all registered with them, and there are all rules and regulations that we are bound with,
Right.
that we practice within those rules and regulations set out to protect not just us, but the patient as well. Because the patient is the one that we need to always do no harm to first. It's all about do no harm and protect the patient and look after them, heal them.
And I'll tell you why I was asking you that, doctor. And also, before I ask you the next question, are these records or this registry available for the public? Like, is this something I could literally just do a Google search on my phone and find out if you are registered or not?
Yes, you can. We have a website, so you can go on. It's called aestheticdoctors.com, and you can go on that website and you'll find a doctor that is registered with the body.
Right.
Yeah.
A lot of the times, doctor, you've probably seen this as well. It's even made it onto the news platforms. Some women will go and fly overseas to get surgery done. They're calling it BBL, other facial treatments, etc. But obviously they didn't check that the person who was conducting this procedure was a professional or registered, right? And the reason they went there in the first place was so that they could come back and they feel if they look a certain way, their husband, their boyfriend, their man or their partner will love them more, right? It's a psychological thing.
Yes.
And the psychological motivation for why they would need that surgery in the first place. What happens with those people, doctor? just from your own research or data that you've seen, I mean, have you seen some of these stories?
I have seen some of the stories. We've seen some good stories and we've seen some bad stories. Obviously, as mentioned earlier, you need to go to somebody that you are, it's authentically a good plastic surgeon that you know of. When patients come to us as aesthetic doctors, I mean, we refer them to, there are very many great plastic surgeons around South Africa that you can do a really good BBL.
Sure.
I think BBL is absolutely wonderful. A woman's body changes as she's young to when she's older, and if she wants to do the BBL just to, post baby and to look good, I think it's a wonderful thing that we have that opportunity to offer that to them.
Right.
But when it comes to the mental side of it, I think we need to first obviously educate patients that, we need to first feel healthy, because there's a big thing about mental health. And mental health is something, if you feel good inside you, you'll always feel good on the outside. It's like the skin. If you want to feel good, the skin needs to feel good. You've got to feed it from inside in order for it to look good outside. If you have good feelings on the inside, it'll reflect on the outside too.
Wow.
So it's all about good thoughts. It's all about good food. And good food is not expensive food.
Right.
It's all about eating healthy, staying away from processed foods, which we all love.
Yes.
But it's all about hydration, and it's all about being confident on the inside. And if we do have things that can help us feel a little bit more or give me a little pick-me-up,
okay,
I
am
too.
willing to try some of your treatments, doctor.
Yeah.
And also, I'm looking at you. Your skin is amazing. Are there foods that we are perhaps eating and unaware that they are causing problems for us? And also, you've just mentioned the idea of emotions and our feelings and the thoughts in our minds that can manifest physically as stress on our faces, showing up as pimples, as acne, that is stress related. How do we avoid all of that? What do we need to eat?
I think eating is, I was brought up in a very traditional home.
Right.
And that traditional home meant that you must eat traditional food.
Right.
Right. And me being an Indian, it's all about my curries. I'm vegetarian.
Right.
I'm not saying everyone must be vegetarian, but eat your own traditional food.
Right.
I think it's got more sustenance and it's got more nutrition in it.
Sure.
Your processed foods, I like processed foods,
Right.
but it's about how often you're eating them, you know what I mean? They contain what is called trans fats, and
Okay.
they have a high level of sugar in them.
Right.
Sugar ages the skin. Trans fats doesn't have any nutrition for your body. So we have something called the gut skin biome, or it's a little complex that work with each other.
Okay.
So you are what you eat.
Ah.
Simply put, right?
Okay.
So with saying that, if your skin ages because of the high levels of sugar in it, it will what you call precipitate what is called it's called ages. Ages
Okay.
is called, I forget it now for a minute, but it's called glycation end products
Okay.
that are released by excessive sugars in your diet.
Right.
And that will cause premature aging on the skin.
Incredible.
Easily put. If you look at smoking, when you smoke, the nicotine creeps into your skin.
Right.
And when it creeps into your skin, it releases what is called metalloproteinases. And that metalloproteinases will break down your collagen and as well as your elastin synthesis, which are the fibrous network of your skin. And that is why you get more wrinkles.
Oh, that's why you lose the elasticity on your face.
Yes, you lose. And then because you are using this constant drawing movement of your pursed lips, you get these little, what you call the barcode lines along your lip area or your mouth area, is also along the sides of your mouth as well. So it's a real thing. Whether what you're smoking, what you're eating will definitely reflect on the outside. And good health for the skin is also about looking after yourself, again, like we said, mentally.
Sure.
You know, relax, exercise,
Right.
enjoy the outdoors. We are so cooped up inside that we don't want to go outside. A little bit of sunlight, a little bit of vitamin D is great for overall well-being.
Right.
When you stand outside, you feel so good. It's like, you know, when the sun comes out after many days of it being overcast, you say, oh, thank God the sun is out.
Yes.
Because it's good for your body. It releases vitamin D.
It
You know,
does.
yeah. And foods that are high in, I would say, vitamin C, your oranges and stuff like that are great for your skin, you know what I
Okay.
mean, and are great for your body as well. You know, having your omega-3s and your
Right.
omega-6s, vitamin E, vitamin A in your carrots. You know, they say,
Yeah.
you know, good vision, you know, if you eat carrots, you have good vision.
Yes.
It's also good for the rest of your skin as well, you know what I mean. Vitamin A will release what is called, or rather it will increase what is called cell turnover.
Okay.
So when you are young, in your 20s, your cell turnover on your skin is around 28 days.
Okay.
And that 28-day cycle, you find any 20-year-old, their skin is so looking good,
Yes.
fresh,
Right.
glowing. They don't need to do anything on their skin. But when you start getting older, like in your 40s, 50s, 60s, that cell turnover takes longer and longer to happen. It can
Oh
go
my
up to
word.
about 64 days when you are in your 60s. So what happens that because the cell is not turning over so rapidly, the skin looks dull. Because
Alright.
that top layer takes longer and longer to exfoliate. So when somebody walks into the practice, we are looking at all these little things and
Right.
saying, okay, fine, what can I do to increase that cell turnover?
Sure.
Because she may not be eating a lot of carrots, or that's just a little, it doesn't mean carrots, but you
Right.
know what
Yes,
I mean?
yes,
But
yes.
it's just to look at the diet and what can I do on the skin that will increase that cell turnover so that she now has a fresh, glowing skin.
And don't we all want fresh, glowing skin? Doctor, thank you so much for making the time. Really, really fascinating conversation this morning. And thank you for the education as well. How do we reach out to you? How do we get in touch with you?
My practice is in Ruslow, that's Pretoria West, and it's at the Ruslow Wellness Center. And it's the name of my practice is Medical Aesthetics on 55, and
Right.
I'm Dr. Sujata Garach.
I love that. And I know.
Sorry, and I'm found on Facebook and on Instagram, LinkedIn, so I'm active on social media too. And for me, knowledge is key.
Yeah.
I think if you don't have the knowledge, no matter what you do, it won't work.
Yeah, then you're in the dark.
Yes.
All right, there you have it. Really wonderful pearls of wisdom and insights from our wonderful doctor this edition of Wellness with Will. Thank you so much for watching.